Welcome to Reading History number 23. Before I begin reading from the diary today, I would like to highlight the Scotch Line Cemetery. The cemetery is located at 513 Upper Scotch Line, North Burgess. Now, in 1886, a half acre of land on the Upper Scotch Line was purchased from Gilbert Wilson. It was purchased by a group of men wishing to have a community cemetery. The cemetery trustees were John Wilson, Robert Allen, and Robert Hendry, and they purchased the half acre for $75. A fence was put up around the cemetery in 1887, and I wonder if that's still the same fence that is up there today. It was at a cost of $40, as well as the purchase price of the land, and was paid for by a group of 24 men in the area, which also makes me wonder if my great-grandfather, John Ferrier, was one of those men. And in 1942, they planted 200 pine seedlings along the fence lines. This is the cemetery where my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my Aunt Jean, most recently my parents, and of course Great-Uncle Ernest are buried. I remember my dad saying something about either Great-Grandpa John or Grandpa Mervyn, I can't seem to remember which one, purchased several plots, enough, he said, for the whole family to be buried there. We visit the cemetery often when we are back home. It is so peaceful. It's surrounded by a farm with grazing cattle, which I've always found to be ideal for my dad and for his dad. There's a huge, I believe it's a Norway spruce that stands tall in the center. And right in front is our huge Ferrier tombstone. Yes, we seem to even have a Ferrier stone. Ernest Stone is right beside it, and he's behind his parents and his brother Alex and his Alex's wife Christina. I've also wondered where Ernest's wife was buried, because I always did kind of find it odd that she wasn't buried in the same cemetery or beside her husband. But again, if there's anyone there that's listening that has any information, I would always appreciate an email or a message. And now we shall begin. Tuesday, October 16th, 1906. Father was at Alex Abercrombie's threshing until the middle of the afternoon. They had expected to be done sooner, but they had bother, and so were delayed a good deal. I had expected to do a good day's plowing today, but the first round this morning, I broke a part of it, and then I had to go to town to replace the piece, and after that, take the plow to the blacksmith shop. Wednesday, October the 17th. We got a job off our hands today that has been waiting for me for several years. It was our portion of an award drain that Alex Abercrombie had made and about 4 years ago, and we had 500 feet to dig in Alex's and 100 feet down in Mr. Peter McKinley's. It was these 100 feet that we got done today. Father and Lloyd and Leslie went down this morning and succeeded in getting done by this evening. I spent the day plowing and got along better than yesterday, except that I had the misfortune to break a point this morning. Thursday, October the 18th. Today was Thanksgiving Day, and us young people went to church this forenoon, and this afternoon Father and Mother went down to Uncle Johnny James. The other of us boys went hunting, but we did not get any game. Friday, October the 19th. This forenoon was fine, and I plowed in the field opposite Alex Abercrombie's orchard, but I stayed in this afternoon as it was too wet to work outside. Our cows got their first feed of ensilage this fall today. Saturday, October the 20th. The threshing mill got to Mr. Moody's next this forenoon and spent the rest of the day there, but did not get done this evening. Father and Leslie were over helping at it. I got the last of our stubble ground that I expect to plow with the sulky plow done today, and made a start at our lee plowing. I have plowed nearly 20 acres now this fall, but about 3 acres twice. Sunday, October the 21st. We all went to church today but Lloyd. Alice is 18 years old today. Monday, October 22nd. We were somewhat surprised when we went out first this morning and it continued damp the whole of today. This forenoon I did not do any plowing, but this afternoon was not quite so damp and I got some plowing done. Father and Leslie went over to Mr. Moody's threshing this morning, and when they were done, Father came home and Leslie followed the mill to Mr. John McGowan's. This afternoon, Father and Lloyd killed a pig for ourselves. Alex was 14 years old today. Tuesday, October the 23rd. This morning I started our lee plowing in the swamp at home. This afternoon, Father took a grist to the mill, and this evening I went up to fish, but had poor success as the fish seemed scarce. This evening, Alice, Lloyd, Leslie, and I went up to Uncle Robert Allen's and spent a very pleasant time. Wednesday, October the 24th. Father went over to Uncle George Ray's with our pump to have it repaired. Mother went over with him, and they went away most of the day. I spent the day plowing in the swamp at home. We have about 2 acres back there to plow. Thursday, October the 25th. There was a heavy fall of rain last night, but today was quite fine. We got 2 teams plowing today for the first time this fall. Lloyd plowed with the walking, and I with the sulky plow in the swamp at home today. Father and the other boys cleaned out the well and got the pump into it this afternoon. Friday, October 26th. Lloyd and I plowed with our 2 teams in the swamp this forenoon, but this afternoon my team was all that got plowing as the other team had to go to another job. Saturday, October 27th. I plowed all of today in the swamp at home, but did not get along quite as well as yesterday. It is raining tonight, and as it has been like rain for some days, I would not be surprised if we had a wet night. Monday, October 29th. There was a little snow on the ground when we went out this morning, and although the day remained quite cool, yet for all that snow was all away by tonight. I spent the day plowing in the swamp at home. With today, I entered upon my 20th year. I thought when I began the past year that it would see a change in me, but I seem to be starting another year with very little change in my prospects. On my last birthday, I stood 5 foot 9.5 in my sock soles, and now I am very nearly 6 feet. My exact height in my sock soles is 5 foot 11.25. Tuesday, October 30th. We had a small fall of snow this forenoon, but it all went away again. Father and I plowed back in the swamp at home this forenoon, but this afternoon Father and Mother went to town, and so I am left plowing alone. Wednesday, October 31st. Lloyd and I spent today plowing in the swamp at home and got on so well that we expect to be able to finish it tomorrow. Father and the other 2 boys spent the day deepening the ditch out of the swamp some. And that is where I shall finish today. Thank you, as always, for listening to Reading History with Great-Uncle Ernest.